Hello, colleagues. I thought it would be helpful if I created a video that demonstrates how to use a pear deck in Schoology. I find this incredibly confusing from time to time on what buttons to click in terms of making sure that the Schoology and pear deck are working together. So if this is helpful to you, great. Here we go. If you would like to put a pear deck into one of your lessons, first, of course, find the lesson you want to put it in. So let's say I want to put a pear deck here in lesson 5. My lesson 5 is what causes a storm, and I would like to put a pear deck in there. So I'll go to add materials, and you would think you would go all the way down here to where it says pear deck on the right. That is not what you do. Instead, on the left-hand side, you go to Add File, Link, or External Tool. Once you click on that, you will click External Tool, and you will choose Pear Deck from the tool provider in the drop-down. When you click on Pear Deck, you will then have to title your assignment. I'm going to go ahead and title mine Ingredients of a Storm, because that's the title of my Google slideshow that I've made into a pear deck. And I want to make sure I click on Enable Grading so that when my students do that practice work, that it does give them some kind of feedback. And I'm going to make sure that I have this under Practice and not under Mastery Checks or Assessments. I keep mine as numeric because that's just what I do with my practice work, and I press Submit. Now, once I've done that, I scroll down, and on the bottom, you'll see that my pear deck is started. I have to click here on the pear deck so that I can actually choose the slideshow to put in. So it says present a Google slide, select a file from your drive. That is what I want to do. And I know what I'm looking for. It's really important you know what you're looking for before you search your drive. And I know that in my drive, I have this called Ingredients of a Storm. And once I find the slideshow, I click on that. And for me, I'm using student paced because I want my students to be able to do this on their own in my flexible paced classroom as an activity. You could pick instructor paced, but I click on student paced so my students can work on this independently and I can see their work. And now we are done for 6 hours. Okay, now that I have done that for one of my hours, 6 hour, I also need to add that pear deck into another class. So I go here and I scroll down to the next class I need to add my pear deck to. And this is for my 7th hour class, and I have to do the same thing. Present a Google slide file. I have to go to select a file from Drive. And I again find the slideshow that I want to use. I know that it is called this in my drive, Ingredients of a Storm. And I click enter to find it. I double click on it. And I choose my student paced activity because I do want them to work on this independently. I can still see their progress and use it later on in a whole class lesson if I would like. And now I have this pear deck in hour 7, and I have this pear deck in hour 6. If I want it in another hour, I have to choose that hour and do the same thing. If I go back to the lesson, you can see that I've got this here at the bottom. This is the one that I used, and I can move it anywhere that I want to have it within my lesson. But as you can see, it takes several steps to add your pear deck. So I hope this was helpful. And everybody, have a great day.